Hi, I'm Adam, the community manager at ZenFri Inc.
And I'm Corey, Chief Executive Artist at ZenFri and the creator of Clandestine Anomaly, the location-based augmented reality game we're here in Munson Park to show you.
All right, so we're going to dive in here and we're going to kind of give you a little bit of a demo on how the game works and showing you some of its features while we play. So, without further ado, click and start.
Your phone gets hacked at the start of the game and you're contacted by aliens who are kind of looking for a place to crash land, or one of them is. As you'll notice in the video, the SIGMech is what we call the mechanical robots, aren't all in agreement about what should happen, but the little guy in the center there, Nuncio, he, in a last-ditch effort to save the ECOS, hacks your phone in the area and you need to help him crash land. And essentially, you're the contingency plan of the contingency plan. You're not supposed to be involved, which is what the other two probes are angry about, and the whole idea is that he's hoping you or anyone else who picks up the phone are able to help them both crash land safely and sort of fix the kind of catastrophe that is awaiting on Earth when they do crash.
All right, so here's Nuncio, and he's got a fix on our location, so marking it on your map. So I guess that's us, the yellow marker there.
Yeah, the yellow marker, it says it's you and that's where you are, and this is so your opportunity to, and it's going to come up with a prompt, but this is like a permanent lock. One of the things that we felt creatively about augmented reality is that if you don't use rules of reality in augmented reality, it's always going to feel kind of fake. So the ship here is looking for a crash zone, and the area you select for it to crash, it's going to crash there. And if you can't move it after that point. It's a giant ship, just like you can't move a football field. You can't move where a hurricane hit. You can't move where the ship crashed. So this is your opportunity in the game to, if you don't like where you are, you're on the bus, you're at work and you don't think work is a place you want to play, this is your opportunity to move and then lock the location into the game.
All right, so let's flag our location.
And there's that warning I was telling you about.
Selection is permanent.
Locks in.
Firing beacon. See the beacon come down here, and it's scanning the area.
It's got some problems with the beacon. These aliens have all kinds of problems. That's why they called you.
All right, so we're narrowing the beacon scanning field. Now we're selecting the safest region. It says avoid hazardous locations like large bodies of water, industrial zones, restricted areas.
So essentially, well, you had the opportunity to choose where your base is and where you are, the general location, when you lock location. This is your opportunity to determine the play space. So as it's a location-based game, and unlike a lot of location-based games, we do want you to play outside just like other location-based games, but the story and how we design the game is very specific to your neighborhood. So you have this 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer sort of square region, and the game will take place anywhere within that. So by choosing a safe location, you're both helping to ensure the aliens crash in a safe place, and also helping ensure that the game does not force you to play in an area that you're uncomfortable playing.
All right, well, let's lock our region in. Selection is permanent, yes.
Soon you're going to see the ship narrows down coordinates from within that area that you selected, and it's going to crash down.
All right, and here it comes.
So, if you pay close enough attention to where that ship actually crashed, when you get to the missions later on where you actually reveal the crash site, it will be in the same location, which is something that we are careful to ensure continuity-wise. And this is all, again, it's downloading, and we let you know it's downloading, but it's all fit within that universe that your phone has been hacked. There's a lot of communication problems because you have a primitive phone trying to connect to aliens, and we even sort of try to blend the loading screens to fit that experience. The other interesting thing about the map tiles that we are very careful of is because you're in that 2 kilometer location, we can grab all your map tiles right now, and unless you open a new save slot, you never need to use data. So you can walk to any of these locations, use the augmented reality, and after the tiles have been downloaded, you don't need any data plan at all, which is something that we're very proud of and we think helps save your battery and helps save your data plans.
All right, here we go. So it says boosting signal, and that is the in-universe way of kind of communicating that your phone needs a little extra power there in order to do these advanced features. So we're lifting up here, and hello, Nuncio.
So Nuncio is kind of your friend in the game. They're called Sigmech. They're these robotic creatures from a distant world, and you don't really know why they're here, and you don't really know why they contacted you, but essentially you're the contingency plan of the contingency plan. There are a secret organization on Earth who's aware of these Sigmech. They're called the EDC, the Earth Defense Contingency. You're not one of them. They couldn't get a hold of them, and you don't know why, and they don't know why. So the whole element of the game that we're really interested in showing is that they're scanning you, doing tests, and as they're testing you, you're learning the AR. So he's trying to determine if you're actually, somebody who's going to be of use to him. And you find out right here that, actually you're just a normal person, and that's kind of unfortunate for him because he was hoping, given the desperate nature of the situation, that you would be a Sam Shepard type character, but
instead I am completely and profoundly normal,
just like the rest of us.
All right. So here we are in Munson Park.
He's turned you over to the main character in the EDC that you'll communicate with during the tutorial, which is Commander Koenig, and he'll walk you through how to play the game, give you a little bit more flavor. It also tells you that you're not the only human who's aware, but you're some special fringy case that even the EDC doesn't quite know how to deal with.
All right, so we need to protect the generator. Equip a jackal from the loadout menu.
So essentially this whole sequence is to secure your location. These missions are all framed around the idea that you have to build this command center, and you have to keep the command center powered in order for it to build. And by building the command center, you're both sort of marginally protected against the threats that you're going to face, but also you're going to be able to unlock the AR abilities. So you don't get any augmented reality or location abilities until that command center is built, which is our excuse for teaching you all the other elements of the game first.
All right, so we're in the loadout menu here, and I just selected the jackal, and we're about to dive in, so let's deploy.
So as you said, we said we're in Munson Park, and there we are on the map in Munson Park. Over there is the command center, and you're powering it. So this first mission is the most traditional in terms of tower defense games, but there still is a little bit of a difference. Here we're mostly trying to show you that aside from just building towers, you also have to build extensions to your generator. The thing in the center is your generator. It powers all the units in the area and gives you your signal. Because you have a primitive piece of human technology, you're not able to see the aliens wherever they are. You have to build these signal towers, these generators and pulsars that boost your phone signal and allow you to reveal more of the enemies and allow you to build more units.
All right, so here we are. I'm now able to build a pulsar to extend the range of my generator, and that opens up a bunch of hexagonal spots that I can
build more units on.
Yeah, build more units in order to attack this portal here.
Now, prior to this, he couldn't attack the enemy base. Now, a lot of tower defense games is there's wave after wave, and you have to defend your base. And once the waves are done, the mission's done. We want to do something a little bit different with Clandestine Anomaly. We didn't want this to just be an AR game that has cool AR and everything else is normal. We want to try to think through every mechanic of the game and make them all compelling. So this is just the initial little feel for it, but the tower defense is actually towered offense and defense. You have to defend yourself, find the enemy base, which in this first level is already revealed for you, and destroy it before they destroy you. And we'll sort of dig a little bit more deeper into that as we play through the next missions, but you can't just sit idly by and defend yourself in order to win the missions.
Alright, so I just destroyed the enemy portal, and we're moving out here, out of the mission. It's explaining how the pulsars work by linking them together much like power lines. If you take down one previously in the chain, you no longer have power to the rest of the power lines.
It'll be very important throughout the game to maintain your connection back to the generator.
Alright. So, in that last mission, we earned a currency here, which is just flashing here on my screen. So, Nanos. We're going to go and spend some of that. So, I have gone into the loadout menu, and the upgrade button is flashing, so let's check that out. Let's see what I can do here.
So nanos are essentially short for nanobots, and the idea being that these machines are built with basically DNA-like technology called auric and stem cell-like technology called nanobots. Now, you will also notice when you purchase the game that there is some in-app purchases. The main thing that does is unlock units that you will later unlock in the game if you just play through the campaign. You're not going to have to grind to get these units. You're not paying for something that you otherwise wouldn't get. But we want to give you the option to escalate your play if you wanted to, but the game is balanced as if you didn't buy anything.
All right, so let's upgrade the damage here, and we are moving out into mission number 2. Let's deploy. Okay, so here we are in mission 2.
And as you see, as I mentioned before, it's about finding and destroying the enemy. This is still a tutorial level, but what you will see is that you don't see where the enemy base is until you build a pulsar and it reveals it. So the main idea of this mission is simply to teach you that we're not going to give you where the enemy base is. In the very simplest form, you only have to build one pulsar, but the key to the game is really going to be not just managing your resources, not just strategically fighting the enemy, but trying to find the quickest and fastest way to find and destroy their base before they destroy your base.
Because the longer that the match goes on, the
They
more
get harder
powerful.
and harder, yeah.
Okay, so I've got a bunch of hexagons around here, and I'm going to build some jackals to defend my generator. And you know what? I've got 4 down. It's probably enough. The leechers aren't coming too fast just yet. And I'm going to start attacking the enemy portal by building some arrays right here. I don't have quite enough work yet.
So while we're waiting, we can talk about the bars. So there's the 3 bars at the top, and you have to sort of pay attention to all those. The first one is auric energy. Auric is the DNA of the stem cell DNA combination of technology. And you get that from killing units, and you get just a general trickle. So even if the enemies aren't coming, eventually you'll save up the auric. But it gives sort of the spark of life that lets you build your units. And then the next one down there is the health. That's the health of your generator. You can be in a pretty bad place, but you can probably, make a comeback or at least make a stand before you die, as long as that generator doesn't go down. So aside from having the health bar that is, located around it itself, we also put that up on the screen so that in larger missions, when you're very far visually on screen from the generator, you can still sort of keep a gauge of how heavily you're being attacked. And then the last one is the power output of the generator. The generator has a limited power output. This puts you into a resource management part of the game where, you won't just be able to sort of build a ton of defenses. There's a lot of freedom in this game to build wherever you want, and we didn't want it to become so easy that you just build and build and build, and it's impossible for the enemy to ever cut through. So, by putting a limit on it, it makes so that you have to make decisions about, when there's multiple paths, or when you don't quite know where that enemy portal is. Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I stay defensive and let sort of pings in the darkness reveal where the enemy is? And as you get into later missions, that'll become more and more critical to the game. It'll become pretty much essential of like, you can't just defend yourself. You're going to run out of resources. And how do you sort of balance those two things?
All right, so I just had the second slot in my assembly bay unlocked. So what that means, I'm now able to equip a second array into my loadout. I just unlocked the Spitfire, so I am going to equip that into its second spot. And I'm going to keep upgrading my Jackal. So let's upgrade the range on it this time. All right.
And just like the tower defense or sort of the augmented reality abilities are justified as being, you must build the command center, the idea of why you don't have all the slots unlocked is because the capacity of the command center itself isn't done. It's still being constructed. So now you have 2 slots, and eventually you'll unlock all the slots to build 4 units based on the progression of your command center.
All right, let's hop into mission number 3.
So this is the last mission before you unlock augmented reality. And the key thing we want to teach you on this mission is the last mission was all about you have to find the enemy. This one is finding the enemy ain't always so simple because you're going to have to build a chain. And so with the pulsars that you connect to your generator, the last time we only had to build 1 and we could easily find the enemy base. This time, while the enemy base is still fairly easy to find, you have to build 3 to connect them together to actually discover where the enemy base is. And that's just to make sure that you understand how all of that pathing works and get involved in that level of the game. And you'll start to feel the resource pinch a little bit and start to feel like, can you defend and attack simultaneously? And you may also start to see other units, which this is the Scrambler.
All right, well, let's keep going here. I'm going to keep reaching out with my pulsars. Oh, they always have to be connected back to the generator.
And they can't intersect the enemy path. So you can't just build it right on top of them. You have to sort of find a place nearby the enemy path. And it also is sometimes advisable to just ignore the path completely. Sort of use the hints and just try to go out through the darkness and find a shortcut, as that will enable you to perhaps save resources or not take so much damage on your chain.
Now, because this is only the third mission, it's quite simple to find the portal here. It was quite close to the initial starting location. And I'm going to already start building and targeting it right now. So here we go. Now, hopefully my defenses are strong enough that I can both attack and defend at the same time. Now they're getting a little closer. I think I'll keep building. Alright, and I'm firing on the enemy portal.
You'll notice that when you do fire on the enemy portal, it sort of changes colors. If you have the music and audio on, you'll see that the music changes as well. Essentially, that when it starts to change color and turn red, like it becomes more and more aggressive. So it's not even just as simple as I found it and I attack it. Well, these early portals are kind of docile. You do have to sometimes be careful how much you target the portal, because if you just target and focus on it, it'll start churning out enemies so fast that you might have to retreat. So it's an important signal to sort of pay attention to, the shaking of the vibrating of the screen and the anger of the portal, because that helps you sort of gauge roughly how angry the portal is. And now we've actually unlocked the recon ability.
All right, so we got our airstrike here, the laser strike, and let's edit our loadout a little bit before the next one. I'm going to keep upgrading my jackal if I can. Oh, look at that. I can reduce the orc cost. All right, so let's continue along here. Command center construction complete.
You now have your recon abilities. And yeah, the recon abilities are justified as, just like we said before, your phone is a phone. You have to worry about seeing through the darkness and boosting the phone signal with these towers. Similarly, your phone can't shoot lasers, your phone can't be a machine gun. We sort of see your phone as what it really is in the real world, which is a communication tool. So these high-powered abilities, these recon abilities, are fired off of the command center, but your phone is what determines the target.
Alright, so I set up my defenses here, and I am going to... Oh, I ran out of all my auric. I'm going to have to wait for a few waves to come in, so I can earn up enough nanos again, and then I'll keep moving out. That looks like it's right on top of us. Let's take a look. So I'm going to hop into recon mode now, and everything we've constructed, we'll be able to see around us.
So you see it locked right into our specific location, which means that when you look through the camera, the objects on the map that showed us being right above us are indeed right above us. It's sort of
a little bit of a short cable here so I can record the footage, but
so yeah, it's right above us. You can see the guns are all where they are. The enemy path is where the enemy path is where the enemy path should be. So yeah, it has a little bit short cable, but you can see that whatever appeared on the map, whatever units you build, whatever units you can see, it's one-to-one identical with what you'll see in augmented reality. That was very important to us to make it feel as real as possible. If we were sort of 3 blocks away, everything would seem 3 blocks smaller. And the most critical element is that we don't sort of bluff you in augmented reality. We don't, things don't disappear from the map. If you can see it in tactical, you can see it in AR. And if it can be killed here, it can be killed when you're in AR. So even though you're in AR and you're using these powerful abilities, you still have to pay attention to how much damage your home base is taking, how effective your towers are being. You can lose while in AR because you're not paying attention to other elements of the game.
I gotta say, my favorite feature is that you can build and then you can see it, which I don't think any other strategy game can say.
Well, in AR. Most games you can build and see it, but yes. Yeah, that was important to us for AR as well, just to make it feel like you have some control over what that world around you looks like. It's not just a one-way relationship. It's your building, and you are able to see what you build and see the fruits of your labor.
All right, let's... okay, so where am I here? I am currently facing... There's the park, there's the river. All right, let's hop back in here, and I'm going to blast this portal now with my laser strike.
So what you'll notice is, first time you have more time to go into augmented reality because it's a tutorial.
Ah, there it is.
And we make sure that you can
right behind you
first shoot something before we start the timer. there's only 20 seconds on AR, and you'll notice that this time, that there's it's a boost of your phone signal. Your phone can't naturally see these aliens, and so it takes a lot of power within the mechanics and the story of the game. So you have a limited window of opportunity to actually fight the enemies and then go down. Now we did this for a couple of reasons. One, the abilities are very powerful, so we try to balance them with being a duration. We also want to make sure that when you're in AR, you're doing something that's very focused. So by having a narrow window of time where you have to target things, it's a very focused experience, which makes it feel better. We also did it taking things like safety and sort of social awkwardness into consideration. So there's no need in this AR game you're never going to be in it long enough where you're going to feel like you have to walk looking at the camera and lose the game. We made it so you can always sort of be on the map, and when you feel safe, go into AR, and you're only in AR doing something very active and don't have to run. The other thing is, we didn't want you to stay in AR so long that you felt awkward in public, so we made sure that it was this narrow window of time so that while you're in it, you play around and then you leave and you're back to sort of normal. Just like you're an undercover, you're this secret covert operative in a hidden war. We wanted to make sure that you still felt like you're being hidden in covert as you played the game.
Let's blast some leechers here. And I destroyed the portal. Nice.
And you'll also sort of notice that the air is very smooth and very accurate. That was something that we put a lot of work into, making it feel, it doesn't jitter around like other GPS AR games might. And a lot of action. These are still the early, very simple missions, but when you get into later stages of the game, you'll see that there's a lot of action that we jam on screen while playing augmented reality.
So these first 4 missions have been right on top of us, because this is where we started the game.
That's where you need to build the command center, and that's where you start the game. Yep.
All right, well, the next mission is a little bit of a hike here. It is still within the 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer area space, but we're going to have to walk a few blocks to get to this next mission. So
But the key thing is, and we can always start it here, that's the thing we want to show you. So when you jump into the map, the first thing you'll see is that it'll tell you that you're out of range. There'll be a little indicator on the side where you can determine exactly how far you are from the enemy. So right there you can see it's on screen. It's sort of flashing. It flashes the first time, so you indicate it, but when you actually press it, it lets you know, hey, you're out of range. And if you click it again, where am I? It'll sort of show you where you are relative to the mission. So now the key thing is, it's like, oh, I'm out of range. So, what if the mission is in an area even though I really was careful when I set up my zone, it's either too late or that still ended up in a place I don't want to play. Well, we did a couple things there. The whole tower part we've been spending most of the tutorial teaching you. You'll see we can play right now. Like, he can jump in right now from this location, even though he's far away, and do all of the tower defense side of the game. And so that's one thing. And the other thing is, you don't have to be exactly at 0, on the map. You don't have to be exactly under your generator in order to use augmented reality. You have to be within 300 meters of it. So 300 meters is quite a lot of variance. So you don't have to feel like you have to be exactly at that location. So that also adds some comfort. If there's a park that you feel more comfortable playing in, but it's still within range, we took that into account as well. And as you can see, you could beat the whole campaign without ever leaving your house or moving. But if you do want to move, that AR button now is a guy who tells you this way, this distance. And so to use those really powerful abilities, which will come in handy in the later missions, you'll need to walk. Now, as I said, it comes in handy, but we did balance the game so you could beat it without ever doing it. We wanted to make sure that it was something that you got to choose the play style, and we didn't force you to go outside.
Cool. So let's head over to our second location here. All right, so we just took a bit of a walk to get to the next mission. We walked about, I'd say, 2 blocks or something, and we are now 258 meters away from the generator in the center of mission 2-1.
And you can tell that we're within range because you got that little checkbox there, and that tells you that you're within range. And we could do it from any side of the battle as long as it's a spherical range around the generator. And as you see, the maps are getting a little bit more complicated. It's not, there's some clues as to where to go. And again, this is still an early mission, but that becomes part of the mission of really trying to determine where you go. Should I reset? Should I find a different way? Now, what you will notice is, since we are so far from the battle, our icon is off screen. The arrows sort of point to us, but we're off screen. And when we go into AR, the camera will whip to our location. But we did that partly so you'd feel comfortable. Yeah, go ahead. We did that so you'd feel comfortable, so that you could find any place near or far from the battle. But there still is a cost. He's far away right now. So as much as he's trying to shoot the Navita, as much as he's focused to destroy the enemy, it takes a little bit more time. It's harder to see, just like real life. In real life, when you're in a battle, a gun is more effective at a different range. So that's what we did. The abilities aren't technically less powerful, but your concentration and focus is more difficult when you're farther away. And so, we built it so that you could never have that happen. You could choose to just continue to play the game as is, off the map. You can be at a safe location far away if that's more comfortable for you, or you could be adventurous and try to get to the exact location, the epicenter of the battle, which is that generator. And when you walk that generator, the battle will be more immersive all around you, and you can hit those leeches with maximum impact.
Now, we're pretty far right now, so why don't we move a little closer and take a look and see what that's like. All right, so we walked a little bit more, and I have a sneaking suspicion that we'll be right under the action here. So I'm going to build a couple more pulsars just to illuminate the map a little bit more. And we're just about where we are now. I got a bunch of leeches coming up on me, so I am going to hop into AR. I'll be behind us. It's right over here, I think. Yep, there we go. So, ooh, that one's over in front of me. And we'll blast them before they even get to our command center.
So as you can see, again, you see the entire path. We're way more integrated into the battle here. There's, sort of our position is very good. We found a nice little nook. We didn't know this would necessarily be here. We didn't plan this, but found a nice little place where we could set up camp and fire at some Navitas without, really causing any problems for anybody, and just kind of enjoying ourselves. And then when he puts the pulsar right above himself, oh, there, we found the enemy portal. So we are right in the thick of the action. That's what's been revealed here. And how will this advantage help us now that we've gotten a lot closer?
So I'm going to set up a few Jackals, and Spitfire, another Spitfire, and I'm going to target the portal. So the leech is going to start surging, and I'm going to need to play a little more defensively now because I haven't even set up a full perimeter around my generator.
There's one to be there. You might want to go.
I got to wait for it to...
Oh, it's cooling down.
A few more seconds on my cooldown here, and let's blast some leechers.
So this should be right above us.
So let's take a look.
Like around us.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. And the portal is right behind me here. I can see them coming out of it.
So as you saw last time, the portal makes sense on the map. And you've been totally surrounded by enemies.
They are everywhere.
And so you're right in the thick of the action, which is an experience that we think is quite fun on a beautiful day. And if it's not a beautiful day, the tower defense is also just enjoyable on its own. Boom, mission defeated. We've come here, we've met the leechers head on, we've come to the turf where they were invading, and we met our adversaries with brute force using the recon abilities.
All right, thanks for watching, and we hope that gave you a little bit of a taste of what Clandestine Anomaly has in store for you.